You all know what that sound means. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Let's Play Mega Man X. I am so jazzed to be playing this. Out of all of the games I've Let's Played on this channel so far, I love a lot of them. Prototype and Scourge Project, maybe not so much. But I have a lot of love for games like Banjo-Kazooie and Bastion and Bayonetta. And Shadows of the Damned is perennially underrated. But this game right here, this is one of my favorite games of all time. It shaped me as a gamer, it helped define my taste at a young age, and it taught me the satisfaction of overcoming something difficult through a boatload of hard work. Plus, all the cool boss designs lit up my imagination. And when I was little, I would fill notebook after notebook with sketches of creatures and monsters and all sorts of shit. And sometimes for inspiration, I'd flip through a magazine or a strategy guide or a manual looking at all the cool monster designs. And when I got a little bit older, around like 6 or 7, I would go to Mega Man fan sites and download all the sprites and fill floppy disks up with them, so I could just pour over them and design new Mega Man bosses. It led me to try to make my own sprites, which started out as just like painstakingly palette swapping sprites pixel by pixel in MS Paint, and then recombining parts of other sprites to make brand new ones in this like Frankensteinian fashion. And that led to doing pixel art from scratch, and then eventually 3D modeling and skinning for Warcraft 3 custom maps. I don't want to be like too hyperbolic and say that this game made me the man I am today and shaped my whole worldview or anything, but it had a really big impact on me as a kid. This was the game that cemented my love for games from a very early age, and it brought me so much joy when I was young, and it continues to do so well into my adulthood. And now I get to share that enthusiasm and joy with you guys. And so you can see we're here in the intro stage, and we're just feeling things out for now, getting the tutorial. You'll notice no text, and I'm not gonna like repeat the Egoraptor sequelitis video on Mega Man X verbatim, but suffice it to say, the game does a really good job of teaching you all of its core concepts in this really elegant, seamless way. Absolutely no need for like the on-screen button prompts or text tutorials or anything too overwrought. Just very, very seamless and elegant. And sets a good precedent for other designers to learn from. Even now, this game came out 94? 94 in the US? So yeah, even 20 years later, designers could still learn from this. Speaking of which, since this game came out in 94 in the US, that means I was probably about 4 years old when this came out. So this was probably one of the first games I ever played. It was either this or Maniac Mansion. I was 4 years old when this game came out, and I still continue to love it to this day, this whole series. We just have to get a couple cars out of the way, and then we can go on to face Vile, the fight that we cannot win. I always love tutorial bosses that you can't beat. I always like to refer to them as the boss that guards the tutorial. Even just like general tutorial bosses, I find the idea of pretty funny. It's one of the things I love about the Souls games. Especially Demon Souls, where, again, you can't win. You're not supposed to. Well, you can beat Vanguard. It's just, if you do kill the Vanguard in the tutorial, Dragon God just comes and slams his fist into you. And hey, look, we didn't win. You can drag that fight out for a really long time, but you'll never actually be able to kill Vile until much later in the game. And of course, we are saved by Zero, who, for the only time ever, looks cool and heroic. Actually, that's a lie. Zero has looked cool up until they moved away from this art style, from the 16-bit style, in Mega Man X4. Plus, X4 is when they gave him the really goofy voice. You remember, it's not over yet! and what am I fighting for? Oh, also, fun fact about Vile there. Vile in his ride armor is the smallest intro stage boss, and that fun fact comes courtesy of the Mega Man Wikia. And big props to the guys who maintain that wiki, because I don't know if you know this, Mega Man's kind of big. Like, it's expansive, it's prolific. Because there's not only the X series, of which there are 8 games, there is the Classic series, of which there are 10 games, there's Legends, there's Battle Network, there is the X remake, Maverick Hunter X. There are tons of Game Boy games, spin-offs, manga, cartoons, all sorts of shit. So we're starting out with, you guessed it, Chill Penguin, of course. Boss that even as children we all knew to start out with. And maybe it's just because, you know, tiny, cutesy little penguin is just so non-threatening that it seems like the obvious choice to start out with. Because, hey, who could be threatened by, like, dipshit old Chill Penguin? I don't know what it is. It just always seemed instinctual to start out with Chill Penguin. And, hey, that pays off because this is the level where you get the dash upgrade, which is the most useful upgrade in the whole game, and it's also something that you can't bypass. You can't just accidentally miss it, it's right in your path. And it's instinctual in that same way that blowing into the Super Nintendo cartridges was. Even though, you know, the saliva probably did more harm in the long term, corroding the pins in the cartridge, it still had the desired effect, and everybody just knew to do it. Like, this was pre-Google everything. It was just somehow the knowledge was perpetuated in a way that nobody quite understands. Everyone just knew. That's just what you did. You just blew into the cartridge. Why? I don't fucking know. But we did it. Oh, it's such an old man rant. Speaking of old man rants. Oh no, I'll save that for later, actually. So I want to talk about the music, but Storm Eagle's stage is coming up, and that is a much better place to talk about music. And of course, the capsule that we cannot skip, Dr. Light, hey! So the whole idea with the X series is that Dr. Light built X as his most advanced creation by far ever. And then the knowledge about X was buried and later found by a man named Dr. Kane. And Dr. Kane tried to replicate X's design. And that led to the beings that you know in X as the Reploids, replica androids, replicas of X. And their key trait is that they have free will and similar levels of intelligence to people. And then, of course, you have the mechanoids, the less intelligent AI-controlled robots. They're usually not, like, supposed to be humanoid, but some of them are. And the whole point of the X series, the whole main conceit is that because they have free will, some of them have, for various reasons, gone maverick. They've gone rogue and defected, and now we need the X Hunters created by Kane to hunt the Mavericks down. Mega Man X's plot summed up in about, let me guess, 20 seconds. It's probably way longer than that. Just like, go back and edit this, it's just gonna be some meandering nonsense. And this is the first time we get to hear the awesome boss music. Okay, that is a pretty good place to talk about music, because the boss music is so good. But of course, we have Storm Eagle's stage coming up, and that just has such good not boss music, damn it. Stage music. It's up there with Sigma's Fortress 4 and let's see, Sigma Fortress 4 and the Sigma boss fight himself. As far as really awesome music tracks go for this game. You know, Vanilla and X both have insanely good soundtracks. Like, just across the board. It's hard to find through, I would say, Mega Man 1 through 6 and Mega Man 1 through 7 and then 9 and 10. Hard to find a bad soundtrack overall between those games. You know, I'm gonna sound like a fanboy here, but I would say that the majority of like some of the most delightful and most memorable soundtracks have come from games published by or on Nintendo consoles. Zelda, Kirby, Mega Man, Super Earth Defense Force, Banjo-Kazooie. God, I love those Nintendo soundtracks. Or Nintendo published or affiliated soundtracks, I guess. Oh, man. Oh, these young pups with their 360s and their PS3s don't know the meaning of a console war. Not until they've seen 2 7-year-olds fist fight over Super Nintendo versus Genesis. Now we get to Storm Eagle. So the way I've always played the game was to start off with Chill Penguin and go to Storm Eagle, and then Flame Mammoth, Armadillo, Mandrill, Octopus, Chameleon, Kuwanger, there we go. Just missing the 8th. But we're going to modify that route a bit. We're still going to stick with Penguin, Eagle, Flame Mammoth. It's just, we're going to change things up after that and go to Kuwanger as the 4th, and Mandrill is the 5th. And already we start the stage off with a heart capsule. Reminds me of Wire Sponge's stage from X2, which is my favorite X game, and one that I will play at some point. For now, though, let's focus on X. So what I want to know is, who did Storm Eagle have to blow to get the best stage theme in the entire game? Or I guess the best main boss stage theme? Because I like Sigma's Fortress 4, which is just like the straight ascent upward and then the Velgarder and Sigma fights. I like that a little bit better, just because it's got that like really subtle, creepy feel to it. But this theme rocks. It is a really close second. And it's for such a goofy boss, too. I mean, I guess they're all a little bit goofy. Kuwanger always creeped me out because when I was little and I still had like religious affiliations, Kuwanger is always what I thought the devil would look like.
Hotcha! Bimo, how do I look?
Like the devil!
So, man. I remember when I was little, I was obsessed with making GeoCities websites. I had like 13 or 14 of them. And I had a Zoids, I had like a Zoids role-playing game that I ran through one site in an AOL chat room. The website would house everyone's characters and their stats and shit. And then we would use the AOL chat room to do like role-play battles. And there's, let's see, I had a skateboarding website. I had a really awesome Mega Man X fan site. And it kills me not knowing what any of those were called, especially the X one. And I was always pretty, like, obsessively checking fan sites for news about new Mega Man X games. Like, I could not get enough of this series when I was young. They honestly would not come out quickly enough. I had the same feeling about Final Fantasy when I was little. Just always obsessively checking for news and screenshots and stuff. Back when I still gave a shit about a company still releasing screenshots, I still have vivid memories of checking like the Final Fantasy IX screenshots before that game came out in the US. And then for some reason I have very vivid memories of the screenshots they put out of Mega Man X5, the intro stage for that, of the Fox Statue of Liberty thing that Sigma pops out of at the beginning. God, I love talking about Mega Man X. I'm just gonna truncate that from now on to X because it's getting really tiresome on my tongue to keep saying Mega Man X, Mega Man X, Mega Man X. And it's getting to the point where I say it over and over again and it loses all meaning. I love this game so much. It's impossible for me to play this and not be smiling. I've probably played it like a few hundred times. I mean, I've played it 3 times all the way through in the past 3 days. Well, I guess this is the 3rd playthrough. A few days ago, it was practice for this to make sure I had my route down. Yesterday, I went to record, and I had unfortunate issues pop up, so now I'm just re-recording. That's fine, though. I love this game. Oh, talking about routes made me think of something. There's if you're learning to speedrun this, I'm probably not like the font of information for speedrunning this, given my best time in it is like 45 minutes and for 100%. By the way, this is going to be 100% run, so all hearts, capsules, sub-tanks, and secret capsule. And I won't spoil what that is for you if you don't know, because it's really, really cool. Oh yeah. In the intro stage, what most speedrunners do is they take a very specific amount of damage, enough to leave them with 3 bars of health left. And that's because that's what triggers Vile to start doing his trapping thing. So if you can reach Vile and you're already at that low health, you skip him having to wear you down. Also, there's a really cool mechanic that I've been too preoccupied with to talk about. The buster shots take momentum into account. Also, actually, you know what? I'll save that little thing for when I do Armored Armadillo, because it's way easier to illustrate what I'm talking about there. Instead, I'll talk about something else that's really cool about the X series. Stages that change based on which bosses are alive. So if we'd come here first, or if we'd come here before doing Chill Penguin, what I'm sliding around, dashing around on, would all be lava. But since Chill Penguin is dead right now, it's all frozen over, and that makes it accessible for us. And I have to be really careful about this jump here, because there is a way to mess it up. First of all, it's a really tight jump to make. Like, you can't be that many pixels off and still make it. You can just barely get onto that right column of blocks. There's a way to destroy that right column, a lot of it, and then kind of like stutter around up there, and then you wind up falling off. And if you do that and you don't have anything on the right column, you can't jump far enough to get back on the wall, so you have to die and reset. Also, since I was talking about stages changing earlier. Since we did Storm Eagle 2nd, that's also going to trigger another change in Spark Mandrill's stage. And I think the other one is when you finish Launch Octopus's stage, that triggers a change in Sting Chameleons, which is why we're doing Sting Chameleon last. The reason I picked the boss order that I'm going to be doing this in is to minimize the amount of backtracking. I think you can set a route up that only has you backtracking through Armored Armadillo stage to get the secret capsule, which you can't avoid backtracking for. I think if you do a certain route, you don't have to backtrack through Chill Penguin stage for the heart container there. The one that you need Flame Mammoth's flamethrower weapon for. No, you do have to do at least a little bit of backtracking beyond the secret capsule and armadillo stage, because you either do chill penguin without having done flame mammoth, and you can't get the heart container because you don't have the flamethrower yet, or you do flame mammoth before you've done chill penguin, in which case you can't get the heart container here because of the lava, which I think instantly kills you, but it's been a super long time since I've actually done it that way. So yeah, there's a very small, minimal amount of backtracking that you have to do, but it's not... Either way, it's not that bad. As long as you have it planned out decently, you're not going to be backtracking through levels like a madman. Now, I've always thought that the red dripping lava looked a lot more like acid, and maybe it's because of the smoky effect when it hits the ground. Anyway, let's get ready. Oh, I didn't talk about the capsule. So, you see me glowing purple here. That's because what the capsule did was upgrade our buster so that we can now charge 3 levels instead of 2. We fire this big snaky purple beam. Big snaky purple beam. Product of Coca-Cola. And more importantly, what that upgrade allows us to do is to fire charged special weapons, which function usually slightly differently from normal. For instance, the charged tornado, the Storm Eagle weapon, instead of shooting a horizontal tornado, you shoot one that's a big vertical cone kind of thing. And if you're wondering, the first time we fight the eight Mavericks here at stage select, I'm just going to be using the buster only to show off the way the fight works. And then, because, I mean, it really trivializes the fight, the weaknesses, and then I'll use the weaknesses when we do the refights just to speed things along. Anyway, though, I'm going to cut it off here and go grab something to eat real quick. Thank you guys for watching. Take it easy. Have a good one. We will start next episode with Boomer Kawenger.